Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Heavenly Parent Holy Community Oceania Hundoke, together with Jynene Helland. Today is Sunday, the 16th of January or the 14th of December in the 9th year of Chongalguk. Let's begin by offering a bow to our Heavenly Parents and True Parents. Chariot, Kyombe, Paru. And let's recite our family pledge, both in Korean and English. Thank you.
가족멘세 3. 전국 주인 우리 가족은 참사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과 환족권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 3. Our family, the owner of Chongalguk, pledges to perfect the 4 great realms of heart, the 3 great kingships, and the realm of the royal family by centering on true love. To ask Debbie Bruce if she could offer the opening prayer, please.
Good morning, our beloved Heavenly Parents. We gather here together this morning to listen to a beautiful presentation. We're so grateful that we can have this opportunity, and through these words we receive every day, we can find your guidance. We can really share your love and your inspiration with others. Heavenly Parents, thank you so much, and we really pray for this week coming as well, that we can really have wonderful Hundoke every morning. Thank you so much, and we offer this prayer to you in the name of Chris and Debbie Bruce of the Central Blessed family. Aju.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and good morning. And let's give a great welcome to Jynene as she shares with us this morning.
Okay, good morning, everyone. This morning I will just give a brief, start with just a brief overview of some of my testimony, just really not very much, and then just share some of the things that Heavenly Parents show me about the experiences in my life. And anyway, just briefly. But we'll begin with a quote from True Parents. This is from True Father in 1994. And it's from the speech, "Who are the parents of heaven and earth and the unified world?" The fall took place because the children's mind did not understand the agony of their parents' mind. Because of this, the children became indifferent. In order to re-indemnify this failure, all of us must seek to know what goes on in True Mother's mind. What kind of difficulties, what kind of agony she has faced in order to reach out to us and to reach and the rest of the world. Actually, I also want to add that about this picture. Philip Owen gave me this picture of True Parents, and I really like it because it was on a boat. He said he took it. Anyway, it was on a boat, and everyone was asking True Father to sing, and Father said he didn't want to sing, and so Mother's encouraging him, and I really like it because it explains or it expresses a little bit more the relationship of True Parents, and how Mother wasn't just like the relationship was dynamic, and Mother was different to us, being able to really encourage and have a different relationship with Father. So I really loved the photo. And the quote continues, "That is the commandment which Father has required of Mother also, Mother has to pay attention to everything which Father does. Likewise, we must have an absolute experience of what Father and Mother are going through. We must become as one body with our true parents. This is the commandment, to believe absolutely in what Father and Mother are doing and experience our parents' heart. This applies to all family relationships, including the true children. Whoever does not agree with Father and Mother has no place here. So I'll just talk a little bit about my life, I suppose. I grew up in Sydney. I was born in Sydney, but very early we went to the countryside. My dad was a policeman, and he moved to a post that was 600 kilometres west of Sydney, and this is the main street of the town that I grew up in. So it was quite a different experience. We only had tank water. Water was really precious, but there were so many happy memories from this town, from living in this town. Mainly the people. It was just such a wonderful beginning to my life. It's often a point of reference for me because our family were all together, and lots of funny experiences with country people, and yeah, it was just a really good beginning. Then we moved later to a town at the coast, and Bulahdelah. And we also had good experiences there, but the memory was kind of changed because of things that happened later on. So looking back on our, sometimes when you start to believe in God, you think that at the time that it's just happened, but when you look back, you can see that God has been working all your life. So I'll just recall some of the experiences where God was really guiding my life to bring me to the point where I could accept God and true parents. When I was after we moved from this town to Limba, we went to Bulahdelah, and I have a memory that I must have been about 13 or 14, and I came back from Sunday school. My parents didn't always go to church, but they always sent us to Sunday school. And I remember coming back from Sunday school one day, and I heard a voice that in my mind that said, I want you to be a missionary. Jynene, I want you to be a missionary. And then I said, I can't be a missionary because I don't know anything about the Bible. I don't know enough about the Bible. And then the voice said, I'll teach you about it. And not long after that, my father, who had been sick for about 2 years before, went to the spiritual world. And in retrospect, I realized that that he had, at the time, it was tragic and changed my whole life. But in retrospect, I can see that his passing was paving the way for me to be able to come to Heavenly Parent and true parents. I remember one night, because we used to pray before we went to sleep, that I started thinking about whether I should pray or pray to God or to talk to my dad. And I decided that I should talk to my dad. And so of a night before I went to sleep, I would kind of like report about my day and talk to my dad about what had happened. Yeah, I had lots of experiences of my father after he passed. I felt him around all the time. And one experience that I remember was that my sisters and I were talking about him, and I was lying on the lounge, and I felt him come in the room. So I moved my feet up so he could sit on the end of the lounge. And I remember looking down to see if there was a dent in the lounge. And anyway, he sat there for a while and we were talking. And then he got up and he walked around the back of the lounge again. And I said to my sister, one of my sisters, Dad was here today. And she said, yes, yeah, he came around the back of the lounge, Jynene, and sat at the end of your feet. And I said, yeah, he's not here now. And she said, no, he's gone. So, yeah, anyway, I felt he really guided me, and I really stood on his foundation, especially when especially about becoming a Christian later. I felt him around. I mean, not long after that, I finished school and I left home and started working in a microbiology laboratory for a pharmaceutical company. And then just one day, I just really felt that I needed to get away from everything. Everything was just getting on top of me, and I decided to go to Bali, and I was living in a cabin on the beach and in Bali, and a young guy used to come to the beach, and every afternoon, and he had a group of people that would come with him, and he'd read the Bible. And so I joined that and started going down to the beach and reading the Bible, and he spoke about Jesus, and things started to really stir. And in my heart, I really felt that there was something about life, that I'd only been living half of life, and that I started to experience that there was a God. And anyway, not long after that, he left, and I was still things were really stirring. I really wanted to find out more about God, and I started praying, but I went to look for a Bible, and I ended up in a missionary's house, and I asked her if she had a Bible, if I could borrow a Bible, and I started crying that, have you got a Bible? I need a Bible. And she said, do you want to give your life to Jesus, Jynene? And I said, yes. So I did. I followed what she said, and then I ended up living in her house. I stayed with her and her family, and we read the Bible each day, and I was so lucky that I met her. She guided me so well. And I was baptized in the ocean at Kuta Beach, and stayed with her, the time that I was in Indonesia. Then when my extended visa had finished, so I came back to Australia and traveled around Perth a little bit. And then one day, as I was coming into Perth, I remember I was crying on the bus, just wanting to be able to talk to someone about God, and praying, please let me find somebody that I can talk to about you. And then I got off the bus and walked straight into Sandy, and she asked me if I wanted to see more happiness in the world. And I said yes, and I was so emotional and so happy that I'd met somebody. And we went back to the center and she taught me the divine principle. There's a little bit more to the story, but as simply, because I didn't want to talk too much about my testimony today, but more about the things that I've learned. Anyway, she told me that the Messiah was on the earth, and she also told me that God wasn't happy with the world, and that was really confronting, really challenging. As a Christian, God loved me. God loved me. Whatever I did, God was happy with me. And then Sandy was telling me that God wasn't happy, and that I suppose she was connecting me more with God's perspective and God's heart, and that was really profound. I tried to anyway, it was really confronting and challenging, and I tried to kind of get away from it, but I couldn't just walk away from knowing that the situation that God was in. And I think that's one powerful thing about the divine principle, that we can begin to see from God's perspective. So it was 1975, and I joined the church. I joined there was two churches at that time, the German church and the English church, and I joined under Krista, but then later, quite soon, moved up to Sydney to Carl's church, and lived in the centre there. So this is some of the early, when I was there, the early Bondi Junction church here. On the wall there was a sign that said, this sign here said, break through the barriers of fear and loneliness. And then, these were the brothers in the church. These two brothers had already gone to England. It was quite interesting. A little semi-detached house in Bondi. Carl was colorblind, and so the color declarations of the centre were interesting. We had this khaki brown color here around the outside, and blue walls, and a red unification symbol. Anyway, the next year, I went to Washington Monument with Carl and Tracy, and we were in a supporting group. We went around with the Go World Brass Band, and we went to all these like housing places, and we went in parades and in preparation. And then on the day of Washington Monument, I was on security, and so my job was to patrol all these trees along here. We got there really early, and we had to look in all the trees and make sure that there was no one there, that no one that could cause any disruption. And down here was where everything was. The stage was down here, and Father spoke, yeah, down here. Anyway, all day I was walking up and down here and watching people come in and making sure everything was okay. But inside my heart, it was very difficult, because I was thinking that I wasn't going to be able to see True Father, that I'd come all this way to America, and yeah, that I wasn't going to be able to see True Father, because I couldn't see true anything from the stage. I could hear everything, but I couldn't see anything. So all day it was really difficult for me. Anyway, yeah, the next day there was a big meeting, and I came and I could see True Father for the first time. I do remember that that when they were building the stage, there was a door in the stage, so that if anything happened, that Father could get under the stage, protected. Anyway, it was quite everything was really, the security was really tight. It was really serious. Everything was really serious. Okay, then in 1980, I didn't go to the matching, but this is a picture of the matching in New York. I couldn't go because it was around God's Day, and we all went to Melbourne, and I didn't have my passport. My passport was in Sydney, so I couldn't go. But anyway, it's a picture of the matching. Then when the blessing came, because my father, anyway, my grandparents, my father's parents, they decided that they should contact the media about me going to America. I suppose that, anyway, that's what they did. So, yeah, front page on the newspaper the day before everyone was going to leave. There was an article about me going to America. The headline was Mooney wed stranger, and it was, yeah, the whole page was taken up with this headline. So because of that, the media was waiting at the airport for me, and I couldn't go with everyone to New York. I had to wait and go by myself the next day. Anyway, yeah, I think that's you, Jacinta. Anyway, yeah, so we went to, Leif met me at the airport, and we couldn't communicate at all. I couldn't speak Norwegian at even one word, and Leif couldn't speak English. So yeah, anyway, it was really difficult for us to understand things. We couldn't even overnight when the program was finished and we went to our rooms, we couldn't even arrange where we were going to meet because we couldn't communicate enough. So we'd have to get someone to translate and to organize where we were going to meet the next day. Anyway, it was very difficult for me at the time. Anyway, but Heavenly Parent really supported me, and I had two dreams at the blessing. One of the dreams was that I was at a table with True Father, and True Father was talking. He said, if you persevere in your blessing, it'll work out. And just beside the table, there was a big treasure box, and inside was all these jewels. And the lesson was that that it was inside there was a precious treasure, and that I had to persevere and find it. And then I had another dream, and in the dream I was in a snowstorm, and yeah, it was really cold and the snow was coming on my face, and yeah, really difficult. And I was pushing through this snow in the dark, and the voice said to me, you have to get unity through the northern gate. It's the coldest and the darkest, but that's the gate that you will have to go through. And so, yeah, anyway, I felt that, yeah, I just needed to persevere and to trust in God and to do my best. Anyway, I'm really grateful that Heavenly Parent could support me in, and yeah, I felt God close, and I felt that I was doing this for God. I said to God, I wouldn't do this for anyone else but you. And yeah, anyway, so yeah, I had lots of missions and did lots of different things. But after some time, oh yeah, so Women's Federation. I want to explain some of this, the experience of some of these photos. Women's Federation was just a really, really so valuable and precious experience. I'm so grateful for. In 2000, I became the International Vice President for Oceania region, and really I learned a lot and grew a lot. I just want to explain a little bit about some of the photos. This photo here, can you see that? Can you see which photo I'm showing you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that photo was an amazing experience at Hungnam-dong, at True Parents residence at the time. Women's Federation went to Hungnam-dong, and there was a garden party, and it was just amazing. The whole yard was all tables, pink tablecloths on them, and silver things. All the knives and forks and the decorations were all silver. So it was pink and silver with little fairy lights around, and there was all amazing things, food everywhere, you know, being cooked. And anyway, so father and mother came out on the veranda, and then later they came and walked around the yard, and they were looking at different things, and they stopped there and they were watching some meat be barbecued. And one of the sisters from Korea, the Women's Federation sister, she motioned to me to go around and stand beside True Parents. And so I went around and she took a photo, and then I moved away, and then somebody else went and she took a photo. Anyway, it was really special, and I'm really grateful to have a memory of that experience at Hungnam-dong. When I put this photo into a frame, I always put it up to here, like cut the hand off, because it looks like it's father's hand, right? But actually it's the bodyguard's hand, the security guard here, it's his hand. so yeah, he must have been freaking out, you know, like every time somebody was coming, he was looking at making sure, protecting father, you know. Anyway, we were very careful, and it was just such a wonderful experience. And this one here is in North Korea, climbing Kungam Mountain, and that was with Julia Moon came and sat with us, and she held my hand, and we're talking. It was really also a really memorable experience in North Korea. I'm really grateful. And that's Leah beside me, beside us. It's Leah. Yeah. Then this photo here was the Women's Federation conference, and that was that was in 2008. That was a very special experience. It was extremely difficult work, difficult, so much pressure, absolutely just so much pressure. And the thing that I remember, or one experience that I had from that conference was, Leif was amazing. He was so much support. I mean, also all the sisters too. That was, yeah, incredibly grateful for everything that everyone did. But I remember, yeah, Leif was just such a good support. And I remember that was at Coleroy, and he had just picked up some people from the airport, and he drove all the way to Coleroy, took them all the way to Coleroy. And then I got a phone call that somebody had, the flight had arrived late. So he went all the way back to the airport to pick them up and drive all the way out to Coleroy again. Anyway, he did lots of things like that. And I remember an experience at the end of the conference that Leif came, and I felt like I had the experience that he is me, like that he is a part of me. There's no gap between us. Anyway, it was really a really deep experience that I had with Leif after the conference, because he supported so well. And yeah, I couldn't have done it really without the sisters, but also without Leif. And yeah, it was a special experience with him. Okay, so time flies, and that's us now. But yeah, just a couple of things I wanted to share. Yeah, one thing is that after some time after our blessing and after some medical tests and different things, we were told that we couldn't have children. And it was really difficult, lots of tears. And it seemed like, yeah, it was really difficult meeting with families. It seemed like there were children everywhere. And yeah, it was always a challenge. One day I was talking to Heavenly Parent, and yeah, crying. It seemed like a hopeless situation. And God said, don't worry. He said, I haven't been able to have my own children either. And it made me realize that just how selfish I'd been thinking. And I really repented. And I felt closer to God, and was able to comfort God, and just be grateful to be able to like share the experience with God, and I suppose to have more faith. Yeah, and then yeah, God worked, and I'm eternally grateful. This photo is Leif and Liam and I at a football match. Liam loves the Rabbitohs, and this is at a football match. Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to share about is about Leif's deafness. That yeah, when we were matched and blessed, I always felt that there was an obvious restorational aspect to what we were going to go through. My grandfather was deaf and my grandmother was hearing, and it was very difficult for her in the end. In the end, she it was just all too much. They lived separately in the same house. And always felt that, that they must have loved each other when they were married, and that, that we were there were things that we would need to go through and to get to the point where they did when they got married, to really feel to love each other. But I'm often reminded that we also are deaf to God, that God often must want to talk to us and to share his heart, and but we're deaf. We can't hear or communicate with God, and we can't feel God's heart. So I often share that the experience that we're in is like God and us, and to be humble and make an effort, and to find the treasure that the true Father, that Heavenly Parent talked about when at the blessing. Anyway, really grateful to life for his patience. The other thing I want to share about is the special and significant experience of Leif and I being able to bless our tribe in Cambodia. Our tribe is Dong community in Bati district in Takeo province in Cambodia. Just here, there's Phnom Penh, and there's Siem Reap where Angkor Wat is, and our tribe is here. Anyway, I was really humbled by the attitude of the people and the enthusiasm and the humility of the people in the tribe and in Cambodia. I also had the experience of returning to that tribe after we blessed them. Then I went with Yassi. Yassi went to bless her tribe, and then we went. Then Yassi and I went to our tribal area. This is at the school. I bought a box of books and things and colored pencils and sharpeners and rubbers and things for the children at the school. So we went to the school. But before that, we met in a community, like a community hall, and they asked me to speak. And so I shared a little bit at the community hall, just a small group of the people in the commune. And then we went to the school, and we walked around the classrooms, and then we went to some of the houses, and we followed this. We were following. We'd go to their house, and then when we got there, every house had a picture of true parents, either outside or inside the house. So we'd all full bow to true parents, and then I prayed, and then they would share a little bit about what they were doing, and anyway, it was just such a special experience to go back there afterwards. Anyway, it was a humbling and really special experience to be able to do this in Cambodia, and want to continue to support them. I just finished now with a quote. Some people might know this quote. I often say it because I love it so much. But anyway, Father said, if you look at a woman in the spirit world, you will see the smiling face of a man within her. And if you ask, I see the face of such and such a man within you, who is he? She will answer, he is my husband. When two are united into one, they cannot be separated afterwards. They live together for eternity after they die. In this way, the man whom the woman loved remains one with her in her heart. Likewise, within a man is his beloved wife. This is happiness. Anyway, that's where we're going, right? To become one as a couple. And yeah, thank you for sharing about this picture too. This is our front door, and this was the day that the first meeting that we had of the PCLC, an organizational meeting about inspiring about the PCLC. And I looked out the door and there was a rainbow. So this is the rainbow. Anyway, thank you for that. I can share just briefly about things.
Yeah. Thank you, Jynene. Thank you for really sharing your testimony with us. It's really great that you can experience God in such a way. I'm sure it touched me. It made me realize that every one of us has that experience of focusing on ourselves, but then when we focus on our Heavenly Parent, we can see how our life has led us all the way. God has always been with us, always led us, and that as for you, our suffering course is just giving us a taste of the suffering course that God has had to go through, all the time. We can see and hear each other, but God is still wanting to embrace us because he still hasn't seen or heard or embraced or kissed or any of his children. And we're just on that same path to becoming the children. And that second photo that you had up of true parents, you explained about the first one. The second one had father's hand on mother's thigh, and the mother was tugging at his ear. I was looking at that and thinking, it just shows how much love and the relationship and the connection they have with each other, and that experience, that you are one, with life, and life is one with you, and you had that moment where you were seeing yourself. I think you were having a taste of spirit world, like your last quote. That not only do others see the spouse within you because you've come closer to each other, but you yourself, each other, recognize that you need each other and are completely together. And I was just reflecting, I won't share them, but I was just reflecting on my family, my relationship with Shizio, and how, yes, if I look from a different perspective, really from God's point of view, then I can see, this is the aspect that God wants me to understand, that this is how we can actually come closer. And have moments of oneness, but then also moments of distance, and just that path, to go towards God is really supported by our ancestors. when you spoke about how both you and your sister had the same experience, your dad coming around and sitting down and you moving your feet, and that really shows to me how spirit world and our ancestors really represent God to us, because who's God in the family but the grandparent, and it's the grandparent. And for those that don't know, Jynene didn't mention that Liam is a given child, and so those in other places it was a given child from the Stone family, and maybe they might want to make a comment to share with others. So thank you, Jynene. Thank you for your testimony, and truly you're a saint for our true parents. Thank you. Are there others to share? Go ahead. We've got a few people put their hands up. Who to go first? I think Barbara was first, and then Chris, and then yeah. Go ahead.
It's just Jynene, I've always loved you, and it's just made my connection with you so much deeper, and it's beautiful. And thank you so much. It was a really lovely testimony. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, yeah, everyone, Jynene and Leif and I and Debbie lived together for many years. And just want to give a little report on just how connected we are, because I don't know if I'm going to get through this, but anyway, I got up this morning and, I'm thinking, gee, I've got to try to relax. I'm pretty tense here, and for some reason I'm trying to relax, and all of a sudden I thought, no. And I just recognized this pain, and I just went into this Heavenly Parent's pain, right through, that's the reality. A lot of times we don't want to receive it, but anyway, just relating to what Jynene, the first line she comes out with, and here I've experienced this very thing this morning, in my thing, and as she was talking, I'm just getting more and more connected with what she's saying and my experiences this morning. And then the other thing about us not being able to hear God, when I first joined the church, I had this vision of Heavenly Parent in a soundproof glass box in the middle of everyone's lounge room. So he would watch and see everything, and we couldn't hear him, and he couldn't get any words out. And that's always been with me. And that was like the other thing she mentioned there, so all these little things, experiences I had this morning. Actually, this morning I saw that box break down for the first time ever and dissolve as I tried to, because now I try to listen to what Heavenly Parent's trying to say. And I think through the providence, we have that ability now, So just lastly, when she mentioned about the North Gate, I'd never heard that before. And then I thought about Leif's ancestral history and what we really are restoring, and the amazing value of our blessings and life. Leif is Norwegian, and there's a lot of not so good history there. They were Vikings, so that hard, cold gate. I mean, it just dropped on me, the value of what our blessings are doing. Incredible. Thanks, Jynene.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Chris. Yeah. Yes, Greg, go ahead.
Yeah, I just think from that testimony, thank you so much, Jynene. And when I think of Jynene and her love for God and her incredible loyalty, really, I just feel is like the foundation of Australia. Someone like that, actually like a heavenly treasure, actually. That is like a foundation of Australia that God is looking for. And she's been victorious really over a very, very difficult course. Thanks so much, Jynene.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you. We've got time for one more person who'd like to share. Reverend
Yeah.
Seti. Yeah, go ahead.
Good morning, Reverend Yamada and brothers and sisters. Thank you so much, Jynene. What a moving testimony. The word that comes to me is, humility before heaven. And you and Sandy and our older brothers of Australian movement, I've worked with you for so long, and I always felt, Jynene, you're so humble before heaven, and I always admired that. And I was quite moved by this testimony, and especially the point of oneness with your spouse. It's such a vivid picture, and also the presence of our ancestors. So thank you so much for a wonderful testimony.
Thank you, Reverend Seti. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Jynene. It's that time for us now to share the screen and pray together. And let's pray for our Heavenly Parents and pray for our spouse. I'll just share the screen now. Let's pray together. Thank you. Adieu, adieu, adieu. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Jynene. And have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Thank you, Jynene.
Thank you, Jynene.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jynene. Wonderful testimony. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, bye-bye.